could have told me earlier. Genius.
Kill it. Yeah.
What?
Killed it.
Not coming up. Wait, we're okay.
Oh, thank God.
I fixed your punctuation mistakes, by the way.
We're good.
What are you now, grammar Nazi, Catherine?
Oh,
Jesus.
dang it, I forgot the E in my name. Never mind.
All right. The founders were Andreas Bader, Gudrun Esslin, Horst Mahler, and Ulrich Meinhof in 1968. Andreas Bader was born in Munich and was raised by his mother, aunt, and grandmother. His father was a Nazi soldier and, well, he was imprisoned in Russia and he never came back. He was one of the few that was not educated. And he was a criminal before, oftentimes involved in crimes of theft and, like, even assault. That's how far he went. And Gudrun Esslin was born in Barcelona. She was a well-behaved student who received excellent exam scores and education. She's one of these Western German trust fund tears that sat there and thought that she was disenfranchised, so she decided to join a terrorist group. And then Horst Mahler was born in Silesia, which is not in Germany, I think. No, it's not in Germany. Mahler went through school and studied to be a lawyer. And Ulrich Meinhof was born in Oldenburg, and she was a journalist before she was part of the RAF. This is their symbol. Originally, their symbol did not have a Heckler & Koch MP5 imposed above the star. It was originally an AK-47, but they chose the MP5 because it's a German weapon.
Oh, that's an early MP5.
What their job was, they were trying to change the political status of Western Germany. They were trying to, like, change it into, like, communist. They wanted it to be part of Western Germany. They wanted to be United Germany, but under communist rule. And they were also trying to undermine Western government and NATO forces. Yes, midget?
I have something to add.
Well, speak up.
Okay. Their goal for their terroristic campaign was to hopefully use enough aggressive response that the Western Germany government would try and, like, attack, and people would start a revolution then. So.
And essentially change it to a communist state. They followed a Maoist-Leninist ideology, which is a communist ideology where they follow the ideologies of Mao and Lenin, the Chinese leader and the first Russian leader. They tried many assassinations, bombings, kidnappings, and bank robberies. They're most famous for their many assassinations on bigwigs, and they're also known for a couple car bombings and some kidnappings of some important officials.
Is that what's went on here? Is it a car bomb?
Yeah, it's a car bomb. And then they tried bank robberies to try and fund their terroristic campaign.
That's how it started. Bank robberies.
Yeah, they have to fund it somehow.
Okay, don't yell at me.
What are they
Yes.
assassinated?
Usually like bigwigs of corporations in Western Germany, or like anybody that held political power or something like that. People with money, people that they said were holding down the oppressed class and all that other hookah.
Man.
Yeah. They were urban guerrilla fighters. They often had to strike fast and run. They did not live in one area. They oftentimes, when they hit one area, they had to run off because the authorities were on them. And the thing is, you can't really hide when you're sitting in an apartment with like 7 people with guns. And they were oftentimes on runs from the authorities like these guys. MPs, West German troops, West German police, whatever.
Did the American soldiers, we had a big presence in Germany at the time, did they help in the hunt for the Bader-Meinhof gang?
They did. My father, even when he was stationed over in West Germany, he was told, like, be on watch for anybody that's acting suspicious, like they're planting bombs, or like, if they're like sitting around, like at one place, like just looking peculiar. Or if they looked familiar to anybody from the Bader-Meinhof gang. They favored AK rifles, submachine guns, handguns, and the G3 rifle. Basically, they used any weapon that their commie mitts could get their hands on. The thing is, they preferred the submachine guns because they were concealable. they could conceal them under their coats or whatever. The G3 rifles and the AK-47s are usually used by their getaway drivers in like vans or something. And handguns are usually used because those are easily concealable, just like submachine guns. And the thing is, they were also known for making hilarious amounts of pipe bombs, literally. They searched around in their, like, wherever they lived, and they found just copious amounts of explosives made into pipe bombs. These are some of their actions. On April 2nd, 1968, bombs set off by the Matter-Meinhof gang and 3 others in 2 Frankfurt department stores caused significant property destruction. Bader's girlfriend claims the bombs were set off to protest the Vietnam War. Well, sure, you blew up like some places, but you didn't cause any casualties. There's insurance for that, you know. May 11th, 1971, a bombing of United States Army barracks kills 1 officer and wounds 13 others. This was when they started getting some people after them because they had killed a United States Army officer, bombed United States military property, and wounded 13 troops. On May 1972, bombing of police headquarters in Augsburg and Munich.
That's good.
Yeah, they actually went in to Augsburg and Munich acting like they had something to report, and then they planted the bombs, walked out, boom. Boom. Later, after 1972, leaders were captured and they were put in prison. They stayed there for a few years and then they...
1976.
Jesus Christ.
76.
Yeah.
Well, one of them banged themselves, and then like the other 4 shot themselves.
Yeah.
How do they get guns in prison?
I don't know. The guards showed up in the cells and they were all dead. So.
So they must have used the same gun, just passed it around.
Someone baked a gun in a cake and gave it to me.
That's,
And then they
yeah.
used it for shit.
1977, even though this was after their leaders and stuff were killed, they still existed, but this is a turbulent year for the group. They started a series of killings to pressure the German government into releasing the other detained members that did not commit suicide. And this included the assassinations of Chief Public Prosecutor Siegfried Ubach, Dresdner Bank, Hans-Martin Schleyer, and they also abducted the head of the Germany Association of Employers and former Nazi Party members. Because the Nazi Party members were part of the, like, capitalist, whatever the heck they call it, I don't know.
Fascists?
Yeah, capitalist fascists or whatever.
The communists hated the fascists too.
Yeah. And in '86, they killed the Siemens executive Karl-Heinz Becketz. And the thing is, Germany, they typically overlook the Baader-Meinhof gang because they just want to forget their past, even though, sure, it's vile and violent in their past, but the thing is, every nation on this earth has a violent past. You can't escape it. You just gotta live with it. And the thing is, another thing I hate is that every time they sit there and like say that they haven't done anything bad, they always sit there and look at us and say, we had slavery. It's just like, look at you guys had the Baader-Meinhof gang. You guys had all these other things, Jesus. And groups similar to this one were the SLA, the Symbionese Liberation Army, which is a group in California, the Weathermen, and the Angry Brigade, which is in England, and the SPK. And the SLA was grouped in California. They did bank robberies. They were also a communist group. But the thing is, one of the famous things that they're famous for is kidnapping Patty Hearst, a executive official for some company who was like educated in California. And the thing is, she was kidnapped by them, but then she all of a sudden joined them. And they staged one bank robbery where Patty Hearst survived, the rest of them did not. And the Weathermen were another terrorist group in England, and England doesn't really know who the founders are. They were just there doing all these things, and they really just left with no trace.
I have a question. Are you sure it's SPK? Because SPK is an Australian band, another gang.
There's a gang called the SPK,
Not NPK.
not NPK.
Okay, just checking.
The Angry Brigade was an English group too, and they also couldn't really track them. Yeah, British police for you. And SPK was a German group that had ties to the Baader-Meinhof gang, but they dissolved later. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Ah, I did that. He didn't have his picture on there, but I got access to his PowerPoint and put it on there for you, Eric.
Hey, move that picture if you could. There's something behind it, I know.
So you compare the Baader-Meinhof gang to slavery.
In a way, sort of. Their ideology is just like everybody works for the common good, and the thing is, communism, a communist government in its history, every communist government has been basically a prison state.
Did they get support from like Russia while they were running around blowing people up? And
Yes, they did get support from Russia. They got support even from West German groups like the Stasi.
And the Palestinians.
Yes. The Stasi was also connected to the Palestinians, and they actually sent the Baader-Meinhof members over there to get training in weapons and bombs and stuff with the PLO.
Yeah, they sheltered them and stuff.
But the thing is, the PLO didn't like them, and after a while, it sat there and said, "Get out of here."
Oh, threw them out.
Basically.
Thanks for the good one, Eric. That's awesome. Not supposed to be.
When did they finally just cease and desist? Are they gone? Dead?
The thing
buried?
is, they're in 2016, like, no, 2015. Recently, there was actually a bank robbery that occurred, and the thing is, they found these fingerprints that matched up to some former members of the Red Army faction, as well as certain characteristics of the Red Army faction were used during this bank robbery. Either it was a copycat from somebody that was in the RAF that wanted to, like, join another gang and decided to do something like that, like a bank robbery, or somebody else is trying to get the RAF started with the help of some former members.
Sounds like that would make a good TV show.
Rebirth of the RAF. See, when I was a kid, these were like the boogeymen, because I grew up in the 70s, and they were always doing horrible things. They were like, I don't know. I don't know what you'd equate them to. You equate them to, I guess, terrorists these days. You know, you always hear about terrorists. These were our terrorists back in the 70s, was the Baader-Meinhof gang. Because they did mean, terrible, horrible things to people for no apparent reason.
Other than to just further their ideals.
Yeah, that didn't work. I mean, you can
Essentially-
say blowing up this car is going to cause communism in Europe, and it doesn't work.
And the thing is, also, you're killing innocent people, which isn't going to really help your cause with them either.
Yeah, we want to join you because you kill innocent people that are opposed to your viewpoint. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were bad.
Do you have an opinion on what the U.S. should do about ISIS?
Oh gosh.
Why?
I don't know, I'm just, what's the situation?
Well, what's the
Next
situation?
question.
About it, I don't know what's going on.
Why would you? Oh my goodness.
You done it. You got him started now.
Yeah, that messed up.
Okay, who thinks I should answer that question?
As your sister, I say no.
All right, who counts as 36 votes? I think we should find some way to, instead of boots in the ground, maybe we could find a way to dissolute them. Maybe we could find a way to where there's two leaders in their group, and through the use of covert acts, try to make them fight each other, make them destroy each other. You kill their leadership until it gets down to two people who don't like each other, and then they vie for control, starting a civil war, splitting the group, and then they just sit there and kill each other before. And you make sure that one person, that they both stay alive for a while until the groups are almost falling apart, and then you let one group absorb the other group, and then you just sit there and mop up, get rid of the last group.
I have a question. Do you think ISIS was created by our own government?
No.
Straight up no.
What's your view on politics?
What's wrong with you guys?
No.
I don't know, we need
The
that.
recent ones?
Anybody else got an enlightening question?
Hey,
June,
Coach.
that
that Saturday, June 4th.
I'm there.
You gotta have the ramp, leave the back steps though, so we can access the building.
I didn't know there were back steps.
Yep.
Okay.
The ramp and all that
Saturday,
in the
June
front.
4th.
Yep.
Sweet, Boche, you're the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
We having a party yet?
Yeah, bring your crowbars and hammers.
Someone, anyone, please respond.
What? Enlightening question.
Any enlightening questions?
Oh, I'm trying to think of one.
Oh
I'm
my
trying to
god.
think of one. I'm not entirely sure which
Eric,
one.
who are you gonna vote for?
Oh,
No more political questions.
thank you.
Any other enlightening questions? Yes?
What's your opinion on Trump?
You deaf?
As a person.
Did you not hear what I said?
I got one.
What's
Yes?
your opinion on Trump?
Do you think there's been any lasting impact from these thugs, the RAF, or were they just like a flash in the pan and they're gone, they're no influence upon the world? Or did they actually have some kind of a weird effect upon us?
They did have an effect on us. Like groups like the RAF and other groups had to start to our founding for counterterrorism, especially at home, like counterterrorist units, like especially funding of SWAT teams, FBI, assault teams. The GSGN-9 was a military team in Germany's special forces that focuses on counterterrorism. The SAS even started using, instead of reconnaissance and long-range reconnaissance patrol tactics, they started funding in counterterrorism acts, as well as other groups around the world. They started starting to fund on counterterrorism. Even our Delta Force started funding for counterterrorism.
Because of these thugs.
Yes, because the thing is, 1970s, like throughout the 60s and like all the way up to the 80s, homegrown terrorist groups were pretty common, and the thing is, they were starting to become a major problem. So we started funding counterterrorism groups within our military, especially within police forces, because you cannot deploy. Here, our Constitution does not allow us to deploy active duty troops like active Army troops like the Green Berets or whatever against any terrorist threats. We actually have to use police forces, but we can nationalize the National Guard only in times of need, and they cannot act as a combat force, though.
We got one more. Did they have anything whatsoever to do with, I think it was the 72 Olympics when the Israeli athletes were kidnapped and killed? Did they have any part of that to play, or was that all?
I have no doubt that they had some access,
Because I didn't know they were with the PLO training, so I think they were the ones that took the Israelis.
because I have no doubt that they helped them. Because the thing is, where'd the PLO people get the weapons? They did not smuggle the weapons in with them on the plane. They had to get them from somebody. So either had to be either the Stasi, or it could have been their army faction or something. Or definitely some sympathizers.
Okay, so like how easily were they able to like the RAF able to communicate to each other? Like, did they use like more modern technology for their time, or did they just like hold meetings?
They
at
oftentimes
specific
communicating with
places?
different cells. They use dead letter drops. Dead letter drops means like you've got like a certain area of delivery. You drop off the letter, you walk away, and somebody at a certain time comes up, picks up the letter, gets the communication. Then they will go to your dead letter drop to where you're supposed to pick up, drop off like some piece of information, and then you get it. They never used like phones or anything like that, because the thing is, that can be traceable. It can be tracked.
Interesting.
Is the Illuminati real?
No stupid questions.
No, nobody knows if the Illuminati is real. It's the answer out there.
People say there are no stupid questions. There are stupid questions. That was one of them.
Quote from Erik, 2016.
Are you not entertained?
I'm entertained. This is great.
What?
I want to ask.
Do you think we should build a wall on the Mexican border?
Oh my God. Okay, let's go back 5 minutes. What did I say before? Oh yes, no more political questions.
Alright,
Huh?
it's not a stupid question. Do you think there's anything influenced by what you just talked about. I don't even remember the name of them, but the people you're just talking about. Do you think there's any influence from them on like terrorists nowadays or something, like ISIS?
Not really, because the
Okay.
thing is, before this group even got started, people were doing these same terrorist acts before them.
True.
They're not the first, and they're definitely not going to be the last.
Okay, so was like the RAF, were they like basically like only white people, or were they like racist, or did they accept everyone who joined their force?
Were they part of the KKK?
No, they were a communist group. The thing is, they believed everybody, like anybody could join just as long as you had the same communist ideals. Anybody? Bueller? No!
No, he's gonna be counter-terrorists, of course.
Exactly.
It's gonna be in Counter-Strike.
Yeah, some just models and Eric.
Somebody? Anybody?
Is Al-Qaeda still a threat? That's still a thing?
Is your opinions on?
Okay, nobody.
Okay, wait.
Yes?
Did they get direct funding from the Russian government? For, like, weapons
not from
and
the
stuff.
Russian government, but the thing is, you can say essentially kind of yes and no. They got funding from the East Germans, the Stasi, and the East German military, which got their funding from the Ruskies because whenever they had to do anything, they had to ask Moscow first.
Well,
Seth, that's proof you need a haircut. Oh,
Your opinions on
that's a travesty.
Part of no political questions, don't you understand?
Yeah.
He's a businessman.
Yeah, I'm just talking business wise.
Trump is stupid. That's my opinion.
Anybody, somebody.
Same.
You know, all of them are stupid. None of them are good.
Same.
I really hope
This could be our last day with days.
Are you not entertained?
That was pretty entertaining.
Very funny. I was
They were
entertained.
doing your so charismatic.
Alrighty then. I'll just be leaving.
I'll do like
That was a good day.
It is a pretty good. There's gingerbread man across it.
How do I think I did? Terrible.
Okay. What would you do better next time?
I don't know.
Are we grading him?
Oh, aren't they pretty? How'd you get down there?
Actually, wait.
Eric should have a separate RTI grade.
How do you guys think I did?
I think you did great, but
Pretty good.
I probably thought that you might have wrote too much on the slide, so maybe you should have more note
Great,
cards.
I rate 8 out of 8.
No, Seth. You're beating a dead horse.
Hey, it's not funny. I have horses.
Well, you're just beating a dead horse with that. That's great, mate. I rate 8 out of 8.
You're the one who told me that.
Well, guess what? Now
Never heard that
you're just beating a dead horse. The meme is dead. It has been dead for a long time. Stop beating a dead horse.
Eric, question. What are you gonna do if you can't join the military? What are you gonna do with your life?
Go to college. Go to like mechanics or something. Become a mechanic or something.
Work with
Next
Nick.
time, maybe even become a federal marshal.
Become a teacher.
You should become president.
No, be a German teacher. German war teacher.
You should be a president.
They're gonna do a class.
Or for president. Some global conflict arises, just bomb everyone.
Me as a teacher.
That'd be interesting. You're straight with him. You're pretty close to 20 points.
I feel like he'd be
I feel like
going
they
bloom, but
Yeah, maybe it's
that is random.
Yeah.
Eric, you should run for president.
No.
No, you shouldn't. We don't need every.
I wouldn't even run for president if I was the only person on earth to do it.
Oh, look at you.
Why not?
Because president ain't a job worth crap.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Is presidency nowadays, it's like when people vote, they just vote for making history. They don't even vote based off of who's best for the country.
Yeah.
There's like, ooh, first black president. Oh, Hillary Clinton's gonna be the first woman president. It's like,
Yeah.
videotape it.
Yes. Indeed.